As you've listened to Corbin explain the environmental benefits of a meatless diet, I know what you're thinking. But how does it taste? Did you know that your taste buds have a lifespan? Taste buds are constantly falling out and regenerating every 10 to 14 days. Now, if you're anything like me, you're feeling a bit traumatized by the weight of this information, so I'll allow you just a moment to recover. I told you that you could use that constant changing of your taste buds to learn to like foods that you thought you never could. Growing up, I didn't live in a household that stressed the importance of a healthy diet. And in fact, by the time I was 18, I probably could have told you by heart the menu of any fast food restaurant within a 10-mile radius. I'm a bit embarrassed to admit that it wasn't until I was 22 that I had even tasted a bell pepper. And Brussels sprouts? That took until 24. But I began to realize as I ate healthier foods that I craved healthier foods and I craved less sugary processed foods. My taste had completely changed. And as you can see in this graph, in the sale of meat alternative options from 2019 to 2020, my tastes are not the only ones capable of this change. The sale of meat alternative products just in this 1 year jumped in sales by $1.4 million. My food journey began to evolve beyond just taste. I noticed that as I ate healthier, I felt stronger. And so at 25, I decided I wanted to run a 5K. I reduced meat from my diet, and I cut out processed foods in preparation. And guess what? That year, I was able to run 5Ks. The next year, I decided I wanted to run a Ragnar. If you're unfamiliar with the Ragnar Relay, it's a 12-person, 200-mile race that lasts for over 36 hours. My preparation for this race was more difficult than previous races because I had a harder time sticking to a healthy diet. My struggle only increased as I started the race and realized that my teammates around me were consuming miniature-sized candy bars and quick sugar options to try and increase their energy. I was able to finish the race, but as you can see in this photo of me crossing the finish line, I was in pain. That pain is further evidenced by this photo of me that was taken not 30 seconds later after crossing the finish line, and I had sprawled out on the grass, stripped off my shoes and socks, and had immediately taken off the braces that had been holding my joints together. My recovery from this race was much more difficult than the other races that I had made a healthy diet in preparation for. Now I know what you're thinking. Of course, if you eat healthier, it will be easier to run. Of course, if you eat healthier, your body will be more responsive to the difficult things that you're asking it to do. But what I haven't mentioned yet is the fact that I was born weighing 2 pounds to a mother whose body was being ravaged by cancer. And because of the treatment my mother was given for her leukemia while she was pregnant with me, I've lived my entire life with a host of different medical conditions. By the time I was in middle school, the pain in my joints became unbearable, and I had to see a doctor. At 14, I was diagnosed with arthritis. In the coming years, I would be diagnosed with autoimmune diseases and other health complications. By 20, there were days I was using a cane just to get around. I felt like I had no choice but to succumb to a fate of being trapped in a body that felt like it was trying to destroy me from the inside out. So the fact that my body was responding to these changes in my diet, the fact that my body was now feeling like it was working for me instead of against me, truly transformed my life. But I was scared. I was scared that what I was feeling was a coincidence. I was scared that I was feeling better, but it wasn't because of a change in my diet. So I did what any of us would do. I took to the internet in search of science-based facts that could prove that the improvement to my health was because of my diet. I had seen the proverbial light at the end of the tunnel, and I wanted to know how to make it last. A common misconception in the consumption of meat products is that the human body requires meat in order to obtain all the nutrients it needs, things such as protein, zinc, and vitamin B12. Luckily, advancements in science, medicine, and nutrition have shown us that if we eat a plant-based whole foods diet and we incorporate high-protein meat alternate substances, we can get everything our bodies need. A study done by Harvard Medical School showed that a high intake of red and processed meats lead to a higher risk of heart disease, diabetes, cancer, and premature death. Internet for my research, I was amazed at what I found. I found things by eliminating meat such as lower blood sugar, lower blood pressure, and an improvement to gut health. But what really stood out to me was the reduction in inflammation in your body due to reducing meat from your diet. People everywhere were experiencing less pain in their joints just from eliminating meat. And more than that, it seemed that this reduction in inflammation was sustainable. So armed with this evidence, I set out on a new adventure. I registered for a Spartan Super, a 7-mile race with over 20 plus obstacles, and it seemed impossible. From the day I registered for the race until the finish line, I ate no meat. I consumed only whole foods and plant-based diet with meat alternative options with high protein. As race day approached and I got up to the starting line, I was amazed at how strong both my body and mind felt. My amazement only grew as my little body began to carry me up this mountain and seasoned runners around me began to fall out. It was clear that they had not eaten enough protein or nutrients to carry them through the course. But I, who for the last 60 days had eaten nothing but plant-based foods with protein-high meat alternative substances, was able to make it to the finish. Now, in the spirit of full disclosure and honesty, I have to admit to you that this Spartan race was the hardest thing I've ever physically asked my body to do. And obviously, a healthy diet alone cannot cure and treat diseases. I cannot promise you that if you eliminate meat from your diet, you'll wake up tomorrow completely free of whatever ails you. But what I can promise you is that if you reduce your intake of meat and sugar, you will see a significant improvement in the performance of your body. So, you'd heard from Corbin, Soren, Caleb, and I all about what meat alternates are, the environmental and financial benefits of using these products. We've addressed your concerns about the taste, and you've heard about the medical impact it can have on your body. As you drive home this evening, I want you to consider 3 meals this week that you can make with eliminating meat. Now, I want you to carry that reduction of meat in those 3 meals through to the next 4 weeks. When you reach the end of week 4, I can guarantee you that your body will not be missing the meat that you didn't eat. And in fact, it will thank you.